Clean Core is only for greenfield implementations. Abby, some customers believe it's only achievable in a greenfield implementation. Can you share how companies running brownfield or hybrid are able to adopt those Clean Core principles?
Yeah, so as I said before, I don't think Clean Core is just for greenfield implementations. Let's get that really clear. But it is a mindset that any business, including those taking a brownfield, bluefield, or hybrid approach, can adopt. So I think the key is to progressively shift away from deeply embedded customizations and move towards more modular, upgrade-friendly extensions. So like I said, start with a custom code review, identify what's truly business critical, what can be retired and what can be replaced with standard SAP capabilities. Leverage the migration as a cleanup opportunity. So even in a brownfield approach, you can refactor or remove outdated modifications instead of carrying them forward. Use SAP's tool suite to create needed enhancements outside of the core system, and that'll make your upgrades easier in the future and less costly. And adopt a phased approach. So a Clean Core isn't an all or nothing strategy. Companies can gradually reduce technical debt post-migration by continuously optimizing and aligning best practices. So regardless of your migration path, Clean Core principles can be applied step by step, ensuring flexibility while keeping operations stable and future-proof. So here's a question to you, David. What tools and methodologies are out there to help brownfield customers streamline their path to a Clean Core?
I think Matthias mentioned a couple of these earlier. So there's SAP has some tools, things like the ABAP Test Cockpit to kind of help analyze how far away existing code is from being clean. There's Clean Core Dashboard available. I think it's available to RISE customers only though. And it's worth remembering that the embedded Steampunk or the ABAP Cloud option, and even some of the key user extensibility options exist on S4, and even for the ABAP Cloud, only on some of the more recent versions of S4. SAP is continuing to release public APIs, so that's a little bit of a moving target. So it's definitely worth understanding kind of where you are today and how far you can go on that current release. If you're on the latest release, S4 2023, I think you would be able to go a lot further and do a lot more with the ABAP Cloud on Stack, developer extensibility, with the key user extensibility, and with side-by-side on the BTP where appropriate. Then you would be able to, if you were still on ECC or even on one of the earlier S4 releases. I would agree with your point about firstly trying to remove what's no longer necessary, what's no longer used. So we have, Basis has a couple of solutions. Active Discover is one that would help in really understanding that what's not used anymore. Partly because, and it's important here to make sure that you're taking a data-based decision on that. Really looking at usage from within the system over an extended period. Looking at standard usage, if you're only tracking that usage for 1 month or 3 months, you could reach the conclusion that some of your custom code isn't used, and maybe it hasn't been used in the last 3 months. But if it's something you're only expecting to use calendar year end or fiscal year end or something like that, then you need a much longer usage period aggregation to kind of make those types of decisions. That's one thing that Active Discover does, along with really helping you understand the full extent of a custom solution. So it's not just a program, it's a program or a transaction, and all of the underlying function modules, classes, methods, data elements that make up that solution, which can be hundreds or in some cases thousands of dependent objects. Trying to do that manually is very slow, painful, error prone. But bringing in tools to kind of help in that analysis, scoping is, I think, important and can definitely accelerate this work. And understanding whether or not any of those shared objects or dependent objects are shared by other custom solutions. It's never as kind of simple as, okay, yeah, this is one perfectly standalone kind of solution that doesn't have anything that's shared, and really then looking at all of the shared solutions together. So that's definitely one area I'd say is kind of using that Active Discover transformation insight capability to really help drive that analysis and that scoping. And then to Mateusz's points earlier, then trying to figure out where the right place to re-architect that solution becomes, assuming it isn't available in standard. That's the other obvious one, is trying to use it as an opportunity to eliminate custom code entirely, where it's no longer a competitive advantage, or where it's no longer something that SAP doesn't support within the core product.